Hey, chill. It's Tiggy. Turn it. Yeah. I told y'all I was coming. Thought I played, huh? Hey, I said one day I be on, one day I be good. One day make it out the hood and hope I'm living good. I said one day I be on, one day I be good. One day make it out the hood and hope I'm living good. I said one day I be on, one day I be good. One day make it out the hood and hope I'm living good. I said one day I be on, one day I be good. One day make it out the hood. Now have you ever had a dream? You make it out the hood. Hey, chill. It's Tiggy. Turn it. Yeah. I told y'all I was coming. Thought I played, huh? Hey, I said one day I be on, one day I be good. One day make it out the hood and hope I'm living good. I said one day I be on, one day I be good. One day make it out the hood and hope I'm living good. Hey.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Erica Mosley, and this is the Homeless Diary. And we are speaking about homeless people, people that's transformed from homeless, and the companies that actually serve them. Now, you don't have to be homeless to be on this show. This is the Homeless Diary, so we can be able to talk about all type of social impact shows. And fortunately, nowadays we have to use the computer. So the show will be on the computer for a couple of weeks now. It can be for about 6 months, it depending. And jumping into that, we're going to be speaking with Nastasia here. And can you give us a little bit background about what do you do?
So I worked with homeless families or families facing homelessness as far as a part of a outreach team and as well as problem solving. We go to the community, we look for people at risk or that look like they may need some assistance. We don't try to judge, we just ask if they need help. A lot of the times it's hard to find families since we do primarily only work with the homeless families. For obvious reasons, they could be ashamed or they're just hiding. They're worried about losing their family. So those people are really our primary objective, but they're hard to reach. With that said, we don't, we help everyone. We try to go and at least get them help in the right direction, like if they're single adults or youth under, a certain age.
So right now I'm seeing, a lot of posts. I'm actually getting a lot of response from people in my messages to stating that, their landlord is still asking them for rent for the first and that, they want to go on strike and that they're scared about being homeless the next month. How do you feel about that?
It's very stressful because, the world is going through the same thing that the whole world is going through. So it just seems almost like a no-brainer. If everything stops, then everything just needs to pause for a second. Other than that, who else could be tapping at your door, so to speak, up the corporate ladder for their money if we're all going through the same issue? So with that said, I anticipated on calling my landlord to tell her the same thing, and I actually did. It wasn't the landlord, actually. She has a property management team that I reached out to. And nonetheless, their comment was more or less like, well, we still have to pay our mortgage. So, but I'm like, you see that it's not that I'm just calling you because of that it's a natural pandemic that's going on or whatever, but it's the fact that backed by that, there's literature in an article from what the mayor has proposed, and you're choosing to act as if you don't even see that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it was just a little tuggle, but it wasn't much. And they said they would send a letter out saying that I wasn't able to pay and so, I will be able to pay them, thank God. But it was just the fact that there was just that, friction there.
Right. So, do you believe we can be able to stay into our apartments or that they will kick us out? And for the people that don't have the money for April 1st, what would they do for the next month as far as their living experience?
And this is going to take longer than a month or two. And from what it seems, it's like politics is saying one thing. You want what your mayor says to be held as gold, but then you're going to have these companies in the background trying to do as much as they can before a certain bill gets passed, or however, whatever they have to do to make it official. So it's that cat and mouse game. I've seen people where I've heard that they can get their car payments put on the back end for at least whether it's 3 to 4 months, but yet you see all of these tow trucks out here trying to hurry up and get cars that are past due, you
Right.
know, before they are told they can't do that. So it's a risk, it's coming, but it's a risk and it's taking time.
So do you feel that if, we're staying in for about 6 months that you eventually become homeless, or how do you feel that your life will change in the next 6 months?
Well, for a lot of people, I can see that happening because if you don't have something to protect you, these people aren't going to care. They're like, pandemic or not, this is my building, I own it, and I need to pay a mortgage. The mortgage company is not going to stop whatsoever. So I can see this raising the numbers of homelessness in the Bay Area, all over, to be honest with you. They're losing their jobs. They're not hiring people back. For me, I do have a skill that I can lean on, and then I craft as well. So I have a health and wellness endeavor that I'm working on. And then, like, just with my learning, being self-taught in coding, I'm not great, but I'm there working on it and trying to build my skill. So with that, like I said, you have to have something that you can build on. I don't think I'll have a problem getting a job in the corporate world. That's just pretty much all I've ever done. But I don't foresee that being the first thing that I rely on.
Exactly. So, do you believe homelessness? Well, I believe homelessness will become the new normal, right? So
Right.
instead of you looking at homeless like as someone being dirty and nasty and on drugs, you would look at someone that hasn't able to pay for their bills during this pandemic, or decided that they wanted to buy food instead of paying for their rent, or just constantly paying Peter to pay Paul. So,
Right, right.
uh, so how do you feel that homelessness will look as far as a definition?
Um, Well, there's still people that are going to be out there with their well-designed self that's going to be homeless, that are they still have the homeless mindset as far as, not wanting to really better themselves or things like that. But I think a lot of people are jaded on what homelessness looks like and how a homeless person acts that wants to stay homeless or just has that mindset versus someone that's just passing through. Um, it is definitely going to look like the new norm, especially in this side of the globe, because it's already something that was flooding the streets, and now it's just really raised the bar on what you're including in homelessness. It's just did a lot of people all at once. We might not see anything now, but within the months coming, I can see that happening. But it just seems like we're just already low on resources, and I just worry about how people fare in the transition of letting things go, cutting back, doing less, or doing more with less. It's not an overnight thing. I mean, you're forced into it overnight, but the mindset part is the part that people are going to have a hard time getting hold of. Um, Food is going up, as you know. We're impacted. The farmers are impacted. In the coming months, we're going to see a shortage on food or certain types of food that didn't make it, or if the farmer was sick. So it's a lot of that we have to think about. And so that's why I say, kind of have to think more primitive, going back into growing your own things, whether it's you see the kids make projects where they doing it out of like a Coke bottle or something,
Right.
whatever you have. Other than that,
Jumping jacks.
yeah, yeah. So I do think it's going to get a little worse by definition of domino effect, but also you can make it better just by what choices you make now, you know.
Exactly. Now, are you honestly scared?
I don't want to say I'm scared because I haven't really been scared of anything. I've been in 5 car accidents. Those were scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, other
Right.
than that, not much scares me anymore. What's scary is that, you have a child and you always worry about what the world they live in, what type of world, how will they be able to fare in that world. But as long as I keep researching, learning more, staying in tune with myself, you got to keep the inner stress down, the inner engineering part up. So it is a scary world that we live in, because you really don't know, what's going to happen next. But that's just how life is designed. You don't know how every day is going to happen. It's just I wish I didn't know as much as I did.
Right. And do you feel that, how do you feel that we should change as far as hospitality? How do you feel that, is this needed or this wasn't needed?
Yeah. Well, it's bittersweet because, I'm already a slight germaphobe and a homebody. So give me my 50 feet. You know what I'm saying? Give me my 50 feet. I don't care what they say about 6. I need 50.
Yeah.
So for what I say is it kind of helps me. Like now the rest of the world see what I'm going through. I'm like, but other than that, I hope people don't violate each other's space because that should never really be going on. But with that said, it's a catch-22 because we don't live well as humans not being connected. We have to touch. We have to hug. We don't have to. It's a cultural thing depending on what side of the globe you're on. I've never been a hugger, but I feel people. I can feel energy. You know what I'm saying? And we're covering our mouth, our eyes, and we're just a bunch of plastic bags walking around. You know what I'm saying? So you have to find ways to see people the way that you see people. That's going to be a challenge because we were already shifting apart as it was. And now this is making people, if you didn't get so scared or so agitated about being in the space that you're already sharing with people that you're entertaining, that's not the big overall picture because that's just a deception. It's temporary. People don't normally stay in one house for a month stuck together. So that could kind of deter people from wanting to connect. But the real thing is, no, this was just a test trial run. You weren't supposed to get sick of your loved ones being in the house. You're supposed to get to know them, you know what I mean? And honor them. And people are dropping like flies already, even before the coronavirus, due to other ailments and diseases. So be appreciative, gratitude. I know it might sound cliche, but you can manifest just about anything. And I really feel that now is the time to do what you always wanted to do,
Right. And I feel like, yes, we just was so used to, just living in our own world and believing that, I don't need you and you don't need me. I got here on my own and you stay over there. But this academic has really proven that, oh no, I need you, and like, no, you need me. And then since your job stopped, my job stopped, and they can't work, and it's a domino effect. So I believe that, when this all do come back to normal, which it never will come back to normal.
Some people are highly affected by this. This is going to be a stamp in your heart forever. You'll never forget it. We've never been through anything like this ever before in life. Even people, don't get me wrong. I guess there was the Spanish flu, of what they're calling the Spanish flu, 1918. They didn't recover till 1922. And it did kill a whole lot more people, but we're not done yet. You know what I mean? We're not done yet. We don't know how people are reacting. We didn't have technology that way that we did. Technology is affecting us in a convenient way, but it's also harming us as well. And we're all just being funneled down this line to jump on board with more technology. And so it's going to be a struggle just to be a human person, a human being with feelings. So I think that's important.
Especially with our kids, just imagine, just being out of school for a couple of months and then they get back, back into society. And then you're like, why should I have to go to school when I can just do all this stuff online?
Right.
Or like when we do get back into school and then you see someone crying, you're not going to know how to deal with that emotion. You're like, because we were just only used to dealing with each other virtually. So when I talk to you virtually, I'm not going to be crying to you. I know how to, fix my lighting, fix my, my clothes and my background. But when you're face to face, stuff happens. You see stuff in live action,
And I feel like also the media helps push that along as well, because we're seeing so much gory stuff online, on TV, in the media, whether it's YouTube or a Flix or whatever you call it. We are desensitized as a group of people. It's just, there's so much killing. There's so much, if you just turn it on. I mean, it's like the new thing now. You remember scary movies back in the day used to be like, oh, I'm running from the boogeyman, you trip and fall and all that stuff. Right. And then in the 2000s, it was more like, okay, no, it's a ghost. And then later on, it's more about spiritual and demons. Right. And now it's the flu. I can name about 4 or 5 movies that are all scary movies based on the flu. I mean, this is what the world is going to.
Yes. Yeah, I went on Netflix and I was trying to look at the movie of a flu that I just saw before, and they're trying to show my child, but then it was 5 or 6 other flus. I was like, oh, a monkey flu, And it sounds like, dang, we just about to die literally from the flu. So,
Right.
and they already told us about this because this was from 2011.
Right. There was a movie called My Secret Tellius. It's a Korean film that was on Netflix, and it came out I think last year or 2018, and the flu was called coronavirus. So that's not a coincidence, you know. It's like, how dare you? Um, but you know, I watched the whole season. Not, you know, in this whole not that one, but Containment. It's a
I
good
think
one.
it's that one, yeah.
Yeah. It's so surreal.
With the black guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was deep.
Yeah.
It was deep. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so, but watching stuff like that, it just really makes you feel like, you know, duped out of a situation. Cause it's like, I'm going through this and you're going to show me in my face, but thank you, because I need to see what to do in case somebody show up in my door. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but they didn't tell you really what to do because they were still trying to find a medicine. So it's not like you knew what to do.
It's the person with the antibodies. They take other people. That's what I got out of it. You take a person that is asymptomatic and resisting of the virus. They can pass on the virus, but they're immune to it, so to speak. And you know what, to say that, you know, there's an article where the scientists are saying they found a cure for the coronavirus based on other people's antibodies. So everything we need is already within us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I'm really excited and I'm glad that people, you know, is actually able to hear these, you know, perspectives from people inside their homes.
Right.
And that's what the Homeless Diaries is all about, just bridging the gap through technology. And do you have any questions for me? Or do you have any questions in general that, you know, you just want to talk about and that everyone should be able to hear during this time while, you know, we have we have their attention?
Yes. So I just want to start off by saying, when I got back to California from living in Florida for so many years, it was like it ripped my heart out. You know, I felt like I was just turning inside out when I saw and felt the energy of the homeless population here. So with that said, like, it's those people, there's levels to it, right? There's people that you just can't even tell that are homeless, and there's people that are just passing through. You can tell they stumbled a few times and then it's back and forth. You know, you never know how's couch surfing. And then there's people that are mentally ill on the street, no shoes, infection. You can see it almost looks like a third world country. I fear that those people are going to be even pushed further down as a baseline in the homeless population, like already hardly getting the help, the attention, whether it's due to resources or care. How do you see, and it's a two-part question, how do you see that going, or, you know, the projection of the homeless population, and how is it going to fare with the new population flooding in, because they'll be basically at the top, and how do you see your organization be able to assist in that matter?
Yes, that is a good question. And yes, that's just basically how it would look. You know, they will be a lower class individual, you know, homeless individual, and they will get the limited resources because number one, you know, they wasn't even aware about the coronavirus. Like half of them wasn't even aware about the coronavirus, which means that half of them won't even be able to know about the resources.
Right.
So they're still going to be walking around and like, oh, okay, yeah, I know about the coronavirus. Is it over yet? You know?
Right.
Then you will see new people becoming homeless, right? Like it will be our typical everyday individual. And then you will see them on the streets, and then they would be, the homeless person will look like, well, what happened here? You know, like what's wrong with you here? And that class, they will know all of the resources and where to go because, you know, it's not like they're on drugs, and it's not like they meant to be homeless. You know, it's just epidemic that happens, and they're not able to pay for the rent. So
Right.
the mayor told them to go to this place to get food, and they told them to go to this place to get housing, but they didn't give the same resources to the people that is still currently homeless.
Right. You know what? With that said, you know, I often wondered like how they're eating every day. Some people are going days without eating. I don't know if their body just gets immune to eating once every so often. There was a story, an article that I just read. I ran into one of my daughter's classmates' parents the other day at the park, and she was telling me about the food bank. I should go, you know, there's extra food. Even, I mean, I'm like, I have food, you know, I'm gonna let that be for someone who needs it. But she said, but they give a lot of food. And then I saw this article this morning that said a kid died or got really ill because it was a food box that was given from a food bank. It was in a different state, but basically they had I don't know what all they put in the food box, but obviously something to make a meal with. But in this particular box, they had the candy, and it was rope nerds, and it was laced with THC. So I don't even know if it was a liquid or what, but you got to be careful even with the resources that we're getting now. It's not like many years ago where you can just go and come as you are and get what you need. You have to be wary of all avenues.
Right. And then the reality is, yeah, whenever you are getting resources, it's not going to be, the top of the line type
Right.
of resources. And then, the typical everyday Joe will start to realize that, oh, homelessness is such a big deal because I'm not getting treated like the way that I'm supposed to be getting treated.
Right.
So you would see them start picking, signing, and doing all these type of things because they feel like they were paying taxes throughout all these years. And now that they're homeless, they see how it really feels to be treated like
Right.
a homeless individual, giving you just $1 when you're walking out on you asking them for help, or just throwing you like a chip or something. And you're like, I'm really homeless out here. And you're like, well, they will really see how it feels when someone else look at you and judge you as being homeless. And you're like, well, this wasn't my fault. And then they're like, well, I don't know. Obviously, you couldn't keep your bills.
I wash my hands in the fountain after I use the restroom.
The fountain that people are drinking out of? No, it's okay if you're doing it because we just want to get help for people to be able to...
No, there's a restroom.
Oh, the restroom.
There's a fountain in it with a mirror in front of it.
Yeah. So, but you got that paper right there, so read about the coronavirus and spread that. Tell other people, okay?
And look at the second paper, too. Yeah. Make sure you go online, or you can text, or you can mail that in. Obviously, you didn't save your money during the time. It still would be excuses.
Right.
Why they feel like you shouldn't be homeless during this pandemic, because everybody is not on the same page during this time. It's not like everyone is typically hurt from it. They might feel like a little cut from it, but not everyone will be hurt from it. So they won't understand like the feeling from being homeless. So that's the reason why we went out there and gave the homeless people like real backpacks, real advice, real knowledge, so that way you can keep having updated information, not raggedy book bags. Because we in this at home for a whole month. If I give them little cheap stuff, it's gonna break in 1 week.
Right.
Do outside, give them good stuff.
And not only that, Erica, it's a real pick-me-up. I mean, people take for granted like a reusable spoon, like a cup, their own mug, like a lunch bag. Right. And, people probably say, oh, they're homeless. What do they need with it? Something more to carry around. But do you realize the stuff they carry around? I can only imagine. I can't, I don't have x-ray vision, but if I did,
right.
I just saw a cart today that looked like it had 100 plastic bags on the cart. And I'm like, but it was important to him. And God bless him that he's able to, carry along whatever they can carry along for some normalcy. So those little things like hand sanitizer, soap, wipes, whatever you can have, a pair of socks, those are hot commodities now too, just to have that warm feeling, your feet heat up your whole body. So I think they really appreciate that, and they light up when they get those things.
I'm glad that you said that about, you see them and they carrying around a whole bunch of, different stuff, because, and a lot of people don't like when I say this is, don't carry all that stuff around you. That's number 8 in my book. What do you mean? Your stuff, especially right now. You cannot have all of that buggies and stuff around you and all that extra stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that concept is great for level 1 and 2 people.
Yeah.
It's the people that are already at the bottom, that have been there homeless probably for all their life. They've become so acclimated, they don't see any way out. They don't see any other option of living. This is how they've chosen to live, based on knowing that they're going from one park to the next. You know what I'm saying? But you're absolutely right, because if you're someone who just became homeless, you need to get off your high horse, let go of some of that baggage, and that way you can be free to go and jump on to the next thing. It's temporary, you know,
Like,
so I totally get it.
like literally be free to literally jump to the next thing, which means that get on a train. You can't get on a train with all this type of stuff. You can't get an interview with all those type of stuff. And then now when I'm a type of person that I'm an outreach worker trying to hand you more book
Right.
bags and stuff, now you got more stuff on more stuff when the only thing that you really needed is, I'm not gonna say the only thing that you really needed, but the main thing that you really need is everything that I gave you in this book bag.
Utilize it and let it go.
All that other stuff,
Yeah.
like you have, like, you know, the extra 3 or 5 shirts and just a shoe that you found throughout the way, and you know, just let it all go, because
Right.
I understand that you want it for safety net, but
Yeah.
it's the same thing as your baggage hold you down.
Yes, luggage. That
Right.
part.
So it's just, I'm glad that you're eating.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so that's the kicker, because it's like, you know, my goal in life is to be like a raw food vegan, not only alkaline, but raw food, like not cooking it. And that's a whole nother category that we can talk about next time. But this is definitely a challenge, because a lot of people were kind of like, was it kind of mocking me, like, oh, you're vegan, so now with the coronavirus, you're gonna eat some meat, huh? You're the reason why all the meat is off the shelf. No, my vegan food is still available. It's just, it's kind of weary to wonder if when they're going to shut the grocery store down. What if, you know, if it's inevitable, you don't know, you know what I'm saying? So I've taken my time to kind of freeze the vegetables or fruits that I can, so at least I can have one smoothie a day or
Yeah.
every other day, you know, stock up on my seeds and things. What really hurt my heart was getting canned foods, because I don't like to eat out of a can, but I'm not ashamed. If I have to, I have a daughter, I'll stock up. But now you can hardly find a canned good anywhere. So I'm like, I should have went and got some cans when I could. So yeah, just trying to get the, you know,
I can manage canned goods.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad that we able, you know, to talk about this. And eventually, you know, I want to, you know, get you on the show to where we actually be in the studio. But for
Yes.
right now, we just gotta live in the moment. And I definitely appreciate you, you know, for coming on the show, The
Thank you for
Homeless
having me.
Diary.
Yes.
And again, my name is Erica Mosley, and your name is
Anastasia Dudley.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day. You guys stay safe, and this is Erica Mosley. Have a good day. I'd like for you to be about it. You know about it? Yeah. Okay. I don't have no
I got 10. You got backpack? What do you got?
You gonna protect yourself?
Yes, sir.
You gonna wash your hands?
Yes, sir.
You gonna do this?
Yes,
Look,
ma'am.
you wait. Don't just say yeah. I got.
No.
Wait, are you gonna do this since Corona here, hon? For the coronavirus, make sure you protect yourself, and you are counted. Okay, I want to make sure you do that and give you some stuff for this here. Okay.
Virus?
For the coronavirus. Did you know about the coronavirus?
No.
You don't know about the coronavirus?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll take some. Hi.
You need to know about the coronavirus. Make sure
Read
you protect
that.
yourself. Okay.
Cigarette.
Make sure you check yourself with the coronavirus. You need to know. Okay. So here's the information. Okay.
Turn it! I told y'all I was coming. Thought I was playing, huh? Hey! I said one day I'll be on, one day I'll be good. One day make it out the hood and hope I'm living good. I said one day I'll be on, one day I'll be good. One day make it out the hood and hope I'm living good. Hey.